want to do some factoring again. But you may have noticed that this one looks a little different, right? We've got 4x squared minus 1. So we're missing kind of that x term, right? And so that general form that we were talking about, we had the ax squared plus bx plus 1, right? Where we had a term, a b term, excuse me, not 1, plus c. And we had a c term. Right, so in this case, it looks like we're missing that. So if we look at our coefficients here, we've got that a is equal to 1. And do I know what b is? Right? And so it may kind of seem like a trick here, but we do know what b is. We can rewrite 4x squared minus 1 as 4x squared plus 0x minus 1. So we do know that that b value is 0. So we've got b equals 0, and then c equals negative 1. So this is actually a special type of quadratic here, where we're missing this middle term. And so if we have that, then we want to check and see if we can use the difference of squares. And so we've got that here down in the right side. So we've got difference of squares, and saying a difference of squares can be rewritten as two factors containing opposite signs if we've got the difference of two perfect squares. Alright, so then here, let's use our steps. So how to, we want to confirm that the first term and the last term are perfect squares. So let's check 4. So can we write 4 as a perfect square? Or I can write this as 2 squared, right? So that is a perfect square. And then 1, although this looks kind of weird, but 1 squared is 1, right? So both of these are perfect squares. So that kind of checks off our first step here. We've confirmed that the first and the last term are perfect squares. So now we want to rewrite this as perfect squares. So I've got 4x squared minus 1 is going to equal to 2x squared minus 1. So let's go back here and then look also that we had x squared, right? So we also have that x squared can be written as a perfect square. All right, so when we wrote this, we had 4x squared minus 1, and that was 2x squared minus 1. So we've rewritten this as a perfect square. And then now we can actually take the square root of both of those. So if we have and we looked at this already, we had 4 equals 2x squared, so that square root would be 2, and then the square root of x squared would be x. Right? So then here, once we have this in this form, we can identify that our a here is 2x, and this is a different a and b, so this is the a that we're using here from our difference of squares. So a is going to be 2x, and b is going to be equal to 1. So now that we've done that, so we can actually, that's our step 2 there, and then our step 3 is going to be to write this in factored form. So we've got 4x squared minus 1 is going to be equal to a plus b times a minus b. So the difference of squares here is going to be 2x plus 1 and 2x minus 1. Alright, so we'll look at the next example in the next video.